In this section of the tape, I'm going to begin the process we'll be going through these 2 days by introducing you to the idea of what it takes to build this $1 million coaching, counseling, consulting, advising, and training business. I'll be discussing the basic ideas that are foundational to the strategic thinking that you want to add in to the process from which you begin building your own business. So just by raise of hands, who's not really sure yet what they're going to be putting out there as the service? And I'm starting with service. Okay. So in this case, what you're going to want to do, if you don't yet know what you want to offer, we're keeping it in a context. And I'm going to step away from this conversation with Lauren for a moment to introduce a few other ideas so that you can begin to follow along with what I do with Lauren. And it will help you get to the piece that you need to figure out what you can be doing that's of value. Now, there's two questions you need to be able to answer here. The answer may be not yet. The question is, are you an advisor by training, by skill, by capacity, experience? Are you an expert of some kind by training, by skill, by experience? Or are you an expert advisor? Now, an advisor is someone, for our definition, I don't care what it says anywhere else in any other dictionary or lexicon on the planet. We want to keep this simple so we can get you to where you want to go in this program. So we're just going to define things and keep that definition in place for our purposes. An advisor for our purposes is someone who has a skill set to lead people through a process, to get them somewhere from where they're beginning to somewhere they want to be going. And the skill is to guide them through this process of getting from the A to the B or A to the Z point. Does that make sense? That's what we're going to call an advisor. Someone who has the process skills to help facilitate or guide a person from one place in their life to another place in their life. And they'll do this either by helping the client to consider the information, the data that's present for them, or by actually having a skill themselves of being able to consider information and data, regardless of what it is, in a unique way that clients find valuable. Or, of course, both. So this is what an advisor does. They bring process skills to bear in working with clients to help the client get from point A to point B or point A to point Z by the way they consider the information in the environment, in the context, either leading the client to do that, doing that for the client, or doing that with the client. Okay? So that's one possibility. So you want to think, does that category fit you where you are today? The second category is expert. An expert is someone who has a specific body of knowledge that they have developed. There are things that they know that they can share with a client or a customer that the client or customer will perceive to have value. So a client or a customer could be in touch with them to get a specific piece of information about something, or to process information in a very particular way about something that falls within their area of expertise. So an example of this might be someone like a mathematician, would be an expert. So if you needed some particular process to be done with regard to the numbers you've generated, you might have a particular kind of mathematician. Or a statistician would be another kind of an expert. Or it could be somebody who's a market researcher, who's a particular kind of an expert. What they do is they have a particular body of knowledge that they have either developed through experience or have access in developing and using because of the body of knowledge they know how to apply. That's what an expert is doing. An example of an advisor might be what we call, for instance, in the consulting world, a process consultant. Or it could be a facilitator, someone who goes into a management meeting and helps the managers in that meeting move their meeting along a particular continuum, not necessarily knowing anything about what the managers are doing, not having expertise in the area of management that's being discussed, but having expertise in facilitating the meeting. That's an advisor by our definition.